Hey everyone, welcome back to DeepBlendArt. I'm super excited to dive into one of the coolest new features in Blender 5, Radial Tiling. If you've ever struggled to create seamless radial patterns without a million nodes, this update is for you. Let's understand the concept. Imagine a triangle with a two-tone texture, half black, half white. If I picture a circle centered on this triangle and divide it into equal segments, I can rotate copies of that triangle around the center. Using the array modifier for demo, spin it around the z-axis, and when the first and last triangles overlap, boom, you've got a perfect radial pattern. The farther from the center, the larger each segment gets, creating intricate geometric designs you see in Islamic architecture, modern flooring, or decorative domes. This is what radial tiling now does inside the shader editor, no modifiers needed. Let's switch to texturing. Add a new plane, open the shader editor, create a new material, and switch to texture mode in the 3D viewport. Add an image texture node, load a simple circle texture, and plug it into surface output. Enable coordinates to object so it maps based on the object's bounds. Here's the magic. Add radial tiling node. It's under vector category. Plug object coordinates to radial tiling to image texture vector. It instantly treats your object as a circle centered at the origin and divides it into radial segments. You'll see division lines. Those are your segment boundaries. Now the sides input tells radial tiling how many directions to expand your texture. Set it to 1, it treats the whole circle as one continuous piece, no divisions, just like regular mapping. Set it to 2, 2 half circles, mirrored, still no real change. But crank it to 3, boom, the circle divides into 3 equal segments. Each segment is a copy of your texture expanding outward. Try 4 quarters, 5, 6, 7, whatever you want. Let me switch the image texture to a V-shaped pattern. In normal mode, it's just a V. Now enable radial tiling with 5 sides. Check it out. The V repeats in 5 directions, meeting at the center to form a perfect star. One segment here, one here, one here, 5 total, all identical copies expanding radially. Next up is roundness. This controls how rounded the segment edges are where they connect. Start at 0, sharp corners. Increase it, the joints between segments start rounding off. Watch the connection points. The sharp angles soften into curves. At 0.5, the star turns into a flower petal shape. Super organic. Push to 1, each segment becomes fully circular, meeting at the center point of its own mini-circle. It's all vector math under the hood, affecting UV object mapping calculations. Since radial tiling outputs a vector, we can chain any math nodes. Let's add a vector math node after radial tiling. Offset the whole pattern. Want directional stretch? Add separate XYZ. Combine XZ. Plug X to X, Y to Y, Z to Z. Z has no effect in 2D. Now insert a vector scale on the X input only. Petals stretch horizontally. Y stays normal. Now add a vector scale node before radial tiling. Set to 2.0 overall. The entire radial layout doubles in size, but segments still copy perfectly. Check this out. Switch sides to 4 or 5. The copies follow the same axes, expanding outward. The overall circle boundary is visible when roundness is 1. Shrink the prescale to 0.5. The radial circle gets tighter, pattern denser. Here's a game changer for seamless textures. Normalize. Switch back to the simple circle texture. With Normalize off, segments blend continuously. The texture flows across boundaries, great for non-repeating patterns. Turn Normalize on, each radial segment becomes its own isolated UV island. Connections are cut, no bleeding. Add a vector scale before radial tiling, shrink it. Without Normalize, tiles merge and distort at joints. With Normalize on, each segment tiles perfectly, floating with clean gaps. Add a vector math after radial tiling. Move the pattern, it shifts as a whole without breaking seams. If you put the offset before radial tiling, it moves the center origin instead. This is gold for repeatable objects, floors, walls, fabrics. Let's build something complex. Start fresh, load a modern seamless tile texture. Object coordinates into radial tiling, set to 5 sides. Then image texture vector. It expands the tile radially. Beautiful, but without normalize, seams break where segments meet, tiles distort. Enable normalize, perfect seamless repeats in every segment. But there's slight stretching in the radial direction. Fix it. Add separate x, y, z, combine x, z. Plug x to x, y to y. Now insert a vector scale on the y input only. Reduce y scale, squashes vertical stretch. Add another vector scale before radial tiling, overall density control. Crank roundness to 1, each tile segment becomes perfectly circular, soft edges preserved. You can even go negative on scales or add more math for wild effects. Add a UV sphere, scale it up, apply the material, the radial pattern wraps perfectly from the pole, expanding outward in all directions. Or add a circle and fill it. Apply the same material, instant mandala or decorative disc. No tweaks needed, the no tree handles curvature automatically. Let's go full PBR with the same radial mask. From the image texture, add a color ramp, fine-tune contrast. Plug into a bump node, normal input, instant height detail on the tiles. Or route to displacement, real geometry bumps. Take the same output, plug into roughness, shiny gold cracks, matte background. Reduce roughness value, more reflection on the floor. Or plug the inverted mask into metallic, gold inlays pop against matte tiles. All driven by the exact same radial tiling setup, no extra masks needed. And that's radial tiling in Blender 5. Fast, clean, and insanely powerful. Imagine the time you'll save on ornamental designs, flooring, or sci-fi panels. I can't wait to see what you create. If you found this helpful, smash that like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more pro Blender tips. Until next time, happy blending!